It's going good. I had a show last night, and we featured all the new music from Schubert.
Oh, wow.
It went really well. And
Sexy Orangutan's my favorite.
oh, thank you.
Mhm.
James
Sexy orangutan.
has been talking about Sexy Orangutan for a few days now.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, and I'm glad it's such a good song, and it also has a message, which is awesome. Two-way street.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I love it. And yeah, I definitely want to ask you about that. So yeah, very excited to talk with you. So Janet and I live in Bend, Oregon. Have you ever heard of Bend, Oregon?
Of course.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful. Yeah, so where are you based out of right now?
Well, I relocated myself into Texas.
Okay.
And from my hometown in Texas, that's where that Yankee attitude comment comes from.
You're fine.
No tea, no shade, as they say.
Oh no, you're speaking truth. It's fine.
No cliche. But I relocated to my hometown in Texas, in Fulton, Texas.
Where? Say it again.
It's called Fulton, Texas.
Okay.
What's the population in Fulton, Texas?
Oh my God, it's it's Rockport and Fulton, and it's a peninsula, and Rockport surrounds Fulton, so Fulton is about less than 2,000.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's small. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rockport, I think, is around 7,000.
Okay.
Or 8,000 now.
Nice.
And that's where I grew up and went to school and started, high school.
Yeah.
And you started drag in
there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There in Rockport, Fulton, and I was privileged. I mean, I had the benefit and the protection I've always had this sort of, I know this sort of protection around me that came with me. I mean, not that life was so easy, but I mean, I've always had this protection to be able to do what I want to do. And when I moved to Rockport, Fulton for high school, I was able to pursue this fantasy of wanting to dress in drag and be a drag queen, entertainer, artist, in high school.
Wow.
Because there they had a choir, and it was an award-winning choir that we were in, and I was in that choir. And then there was it was regionally well-known, this choir, and they would go out of the country from time to time, and then they would do nationals or whatever. And then the theater was really good. The theater program that I had, we had legit teacher, Mr. Atkinson, and he let me do pretty much whatever. And they take their theater a little too seriously there in Texas. They really do. I was like, come on, you guys, this is just high school. This is not Broadway.
Yeah.
It was weird. I mean, and they have these competitions, these UIL competitions.
Oh, yeah. My high school had was speech team or something. Is it similar to that?
Well, it's like on a large level where they get together and they do the plays, the one acts or whatever, and they get up there and do the big productions, and then they just took it too serious. I guess it's similar to that, but it was a little.
But it's a contest, right?
It was a contest.
Yeah.
I mean, they would hire people to come down and choreograph us, or they would hire a whole thing, and you'd have to submit everything at a certain time. And
oh wow, you learned showbiz from an early age.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like.
In high school, yeah.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of props to both sides, the choir, and then I would give a lot of props to the theatrical department I was in, because he really did. He came from a background of theater, or he studied it so well, and then he came and delivered this from San Antonio. Because actually, I believe in Texas, there is some of the best acting schools, too.
Oh, wow.
In Austin, I think Austin and those areas, there's really good acting schools. Farrah Fawcett was born in my hometown, where I was born in Corpus Christi.
Oh, no
oh really? Wow.
And what's his name from Para Bailan La Bamba? What was his name? Neil Diamond Phillips.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was looking at your new wig. That's very Farrah Fawcett inspired new wig I saw on Instagram the other day.
Yeah, these new ones are real cool. Pierce, he's starting to design wigs. He's also who produced. I'm not going to say I produced the album because I backed it financially, but this new album, Schubert, where the T is silent. But he engineered the album, but he's now designing wigs as well. So he's starting his own little wig company, Sunshine Wigs.
Aw, good name.
That's what I said. What is this, Florida?
That's funny.
Yeah, so you basically went from acting to drag. You recently did a show called 20 Years of Tammie.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go?
It went well. We packed the house.
There you
we
go.
had other wonderful entertainers through my career. We had Dolly Levi, who's a legend there in Los Angeles, and she used to work at one of the bar that with the Queen Mary, I think it was called. It was out in the Valley. And then she's been part of the Dream Girls, with Chad Michaels and Delta Work. I don't know if you know about that. They had a review called Dream Girls. And Dolly, she's 62. I hired her to come in.
Nice.
And then but she did the Can and tore the house down. I was like,
oh, wow. That's so cool.
And then we had, of course, I had Jackie B.
Okay.
And then Kelly
legendary.
Mantles came in.
Legendary.
And Kelly Mantles performed. She was the mistress of ceremony, and she came in and she played Sheila from our hit series, Insta series, The Browns.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that. Yeah.
High concept character she was.
Yeah.
And then I thought that's pretty cool. Me and Kelly get along really well. Then I had Ezra Tuwalo. He's the NBA sports star. He was also on The Voice. He's openly gay and a gay icon and role model, and he came and sang for me.
That's amazing.
And then I had guest of honor. Just like my special guest of honor was Milk. She didn't perform. She was just my guest. And then we had, and then myself performed, right? I think so. There we go.
There you go.
And it was great. I had a design dress by Michael Schmidt. I always wanted a gold metal mesh dress. And he designed for everybody. Now he designs for Beyonce and his career started with Cher and Tina Turner and Aretha Kitt and everybody, and then he's been designing now for Cher. I mean, he still designs for Cher, but he designs for let me think, Beyonce and Lady Gaga and all that.
All right.
Super cool.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, we're in a small little town, and one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. We have a small drag group starting up here called the Cult of the Tuck, a fabulous group of queer folks operating in a town that is, I would say, conservative and growing.
Yeah, or maybe a bubble surrounded by conservative.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I kind of want to get into a little bit about how you started out, what happened to Tammie Brown 20 years ago, that sparked, and then what those early years were like. So I know that's a broad question, but thinking about your early, drag experiences and stuff that stood out to you and made a big difference for you. Do you have any of those memories to share?
Well, like I said earlier with the theater and Mr. Atkinson, that was really helpful because he allowed me to perform. Like I've said this many a times before, I was able to perform in plays. I auditioned for, there was a part for Cha-Cha in Grease, of course, and I got that part.
Nice.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
And then there was Into the Woods, and I got to play the stepmother in Into the Woods when we did that. And then once I turned 18, I knew that I could go to the nightclub. So that's when I told them where I was working that I wanted to go on Monday nights to the nightclub. And the nightclub actually in Corpus at the time was it Club Diva, I guess. Oh. They went ahead and made a special night for amateurs for us and let us start doing something.
Oh, fun.
That's cool.
And then in drag, and that was in around 1999 and 2000, but before that, around 2008 was when I officially was able to start dressing in drag. And then I went to the prom in drag as well. And
oh my gosh!
Did you really?
That's great.
Tammy, what did your prom dress look like?
Yeah, what color was it?
Yeah, we need to know that.
It's black, and then I had it designed with it had two layers. I mean, it had some divides with fabric, and then a see-through, like a sheer black as well, and then I embroidered all this sequins on it.
So
different
modern.
Sequins. And it was really cute dress. It was from a 70s pattern, but I had it made into a mini skirt as well to show off my legs.
Yeah.
And then, that was that. I mean, my drag has changed so much since then. Then when I came out to college, I studied fashion school on Pacific Coast Highway, Brooks College. And I have a major issue with this because of the college that I went and studied. It was shut down because it was for one of those for-profit schools, you know.
Oh, okay.
And,
yeah.
And it was even on 60 Minutes. And I can't seem to get my loan expunged is the problem.
Oh,
and
no.
I would like to get this loan expunged. I don't know how to do it. So if anybody's listening,
Yes.
help me out.
Let's get this thing expunged.
We'll work on this.
But which it should. That's an epidemic here in America, as we do know.
Student loan debt, yeah.
Yeah.
Student loan debt, and it's just a mess. There I was in college, and I started I knew I wanted to finish I finished the degree, and then I started pursuing the drag there in college. Took a year. I also took a makeup class when I was in college, and
Oh, yeah.
that's what developed my face to the style that I ended up with, sort of this classic style, I guess. You know, just my face. I have an old Hollywood face.
Yes.
Now,
signature look. I
One
was
of my
actually
favorites.
saying the other day that the way you paint your mouth, it reminds me of Marlene Dietrich's.
Correct, I do. And now with Schubert, I'm toning it, going to make it a little softer. I guess we're going a little more softer, but yeah, it does look like Marlene Dietrich or Joan Crawford.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely. What's the favorite part about doing your face?
My favorite part about doing my face would probably have to be lips and lashes.
Lips and lashes.
Lips and lashes. Those are kind of the favorite
Do you
ones.
feel like those are like where you get to be a little more playful or have a little more versatility, creativity?
With the lashes, probably more creativity.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lips, they're easier, you know. I do like doing my eye makeup, and the eyebrows I like doing too, but they're just such a pain in the butt, eyebrows, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and now I'm going to be using my, because I have to do different eyebrows accordingly to performance.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and wigs and yeah.
The pasted down ones, they
Right.
can't be done for a high energy performance or a concert. They're not going to last. They're more for a certain look, you know, photo and sort of good look or whatever, if I can say that, or an outlook, but not a performance concert.
Utilitarian, yeah.
I have a question about your influences. I'm sure they've changed over time, and we were talking about how your style's a little more eclectic, and I feel like if you have influences, they may be a little more nuanced or subtle than some other drag queens. Can you tell us about some major influences that you've had and how they've changed?
Well, number one has always been Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
Heck yeah, that's great.
Always, bottom line, because it was, and there's degrees to it, and also Tootsie was another one. Tootsie.
Oh my
Tootsie
gosh,
Lou.
you were speaking.
Tootsie
Your
Turner.
language.
Tootsie
On the
Turner.
burner. But both of them those are more influenced. Like the expression, sort of Tootsie's kind of that secretarial look.
Yes.
So I always really liked that businesswoman kind of secretary 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
The vanity of that was an influence for me, that being able to transform.
Yep.
I like talking about this over and over, this story. I don't know why in my head I was going to go to a mall, of course, have the perfect department store experience, get all my stuff together, go into, I don't know which restroom I was going to go to, and come out a woman. I mean, that was always sort of this fantasy. And then Tina Turner influenced because of the simplicity always of her garments, actually.
Yeah, now that I think about it, yes.
Yes.
Your silhouette
Well,
is
there's-
totally Tina Turner. Yeah.
Always very simple stuff going on. Nice quality, everything, and sometimes cutting edge design stuff, but it's always very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And another note is to Leza Laurie or whatever was actually the designer of those flapper dresses, and the style that Tina was wearing, the macrame ones,
Yeah.
during the 68 through 74, I think, she was wearing a lot of those. That's not beads, actually. The flapper dress was never beaded. It's little chains. Little chains.
Oh, fun.
Which makes sense because she always sweat so much. Those real beaded gown would
Heavy.
tarnish fast.
Yeah.
Do you sweat a lot on stage?
I sweat a lot myself.
I would too. Yeah.
And I concern myself, like, oh, I don't want to wear too many beaded gowns or whatever, because if I do, my beaded costume's going to tarnish, so it's going to be seen for a photo shoot look or whatever, unless it's black beads. But yeah, Tina Turner, and it is eclectic. It's always been eclectic. The only and I like to shop, and I have a sense of fashion and style. I've always had that. Not to say that I like to go shopping everywhere I go, but I have the advantage now too that I can pick up things different places I go. Yeah. Like for example, when I do come to Oregon, I do in Portland area. I don't do those per se. I go to the Goodwill and all the different bigger thrift stores they have, or what are those called?
Consignment stores.
Op shops. Op shops, consignment stores.
Yeah, those bigger ones. I go to those instead. Then they have such a selection there. It's just pretty cool.
I know.
Instead of going to the specific vintage store, I go to thrift stores when I'm there. The bigger ones they have so many, and I find so many wonderful things there.
Yes.
And the vintage stuff started getting mixed in a lot more because I'll see vintage pieces and I like them, and I would like to try them on. And a friend at the beginning of the career in Long Beach, in around 2004, brought me some garments. And then he kept bringing me more and more and more vintage dresses, to where I never had to buy anything because he just kept bringing me all. That's where the vintage edge came from. And I'm glad you said eclectic.
Do you have do you have an era that you are especially drawn to? You've mentioned like the 70s and 80s, 60s. Is there one that you find yourself particularly drawn to over and over again?
No, I do. It would probably be I do like 50s and I do like 40s. I like the 20. Some 20 stuff is fun, but I mean it's hard to get those garments too because they're gonna be falling apart usually. And a bit too pricey sometimes. Yes. But in most of my career, a lot of the stuff just kind of comes to me. It's always come to me. I've never really had to buy a lot of things. Even wigs have come to me for free, or as gifts from people, Patreons or what have you. But I mean, it just ends up happening that way for me. Very organic. It always kind of organically happens for me.
And how do you think that is for you? Why do you think that is, that you've been touching on that a little bit, how you've been always protected and it's an organic experience. What are you touching on there that's, I think, very interesting to talk about? Do you have any ideas?
It's because I'm sincere and true, you know, and I'm really a very sincere, pure person, probably. Yeah. I mean, pure, if you don't mind me tooting my own horn or whatever, I get that all the time. Yes. And I think that's just, and it probably came with that fortune, you know, at the beginning of this life. Not to say that life is, you know, been easy, but I mean, I just go with the flow for the most part, and I can always make do with things too. Okay, well, this is what it is. Let's make this work.
Yeah.
Yes. And people really appreciate that. I feel like you, you know, are one of I hear your name a lot come from other performers that are in your level of, you know, that are touring and doing the same things you're doing. And it seems like a lot of other performers really enjoy working with you and are inspired by you. Katya, Trixie, you know, these level of performers, I've always noticed that. And I think that that's a very valuable thing to have as a, you know, a part of that community is somebody that's really nice to work with. Yeah. And so who do you enjoy working with and why?
Well, I'm going to say back to that also big performers, I would like to mention Coco Peru has always been helpful in my career.
Yeah. Her walking through Target, I could just do it all day. I could just watch it all day.
Oh, she's the best.
She's really
one of my
is.
favorites.
Yes,
she was going to be on my roster for the gala. It was her, Lady Bunny, and Jackie Beat.
Oh, my
God. They had already been pre-booked, but they're my favorite.
The Holy Trinity.
Yeah, they're my top favorite.
Nice.
Sometimes Jackie just needs to be nice. Just be nice. I like working with Coco, but they always complimented me and also helped me out as well. Those queens, Jackie gave me nails for half of the pack of those Kiss nails, which they don't no longer make. She gave me half of those, and she's given me sweaters and all kinds of stuff. And Coco referred me to other bigger bookings and stuff.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy working, and I'm so thankful. And when I get together with Kelly, in fact, we revived her career with this Browns thing. I like to brag about it. She'll have a hoot laughing about this.
Yeah.
Because she loves getting a little, like, she likes little diggers, you know, or daggers a little bit, because it makes her laugh. She likes when I get snarky or when I go crazy, driving me crazy. She just gets such a tickle out of it. But,
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Relatable content.
Well, just don't drive me crazy. I don't have to shut the door. But Kelly Mantles and I, we just really love each other, because we hung out the other day. We're making a new series. John Mark and I, who plays my son in the Browns, my creative doctor. He directs the Browns as well.
Oh, wow.
What was I going to say? Him and I are creating a new series called Queen of the Cause.
Queen of the Cause.
I like that.
Two series. One is on the palm oil,
Yeah.
and the other one is going to be on plastic. They'll be released very soon.
Oh, great.
In fact, we're going to Oaxaca, Mexico tomorrow, because we're going to do some prospecting down in Juchitán to investigate the Muxes, M-U-X-E. They're a third gender down there, and we want to start doing a whole series where we go around the world studying the third genders.
Right.
That's
Oh my
what we're
God,
working on
amazing.
right now,
Yeah.
a docu-series. But Kelly Mantles is one of my favorites to work with. I enjoy working with Barbecue from California. There's one, but she's not so well known, but she's really a wonderful trans woman now, and or always has been. But I enjoy her. I enjoy working with Coco. I do like working with Trixie. I really like working with. I enjoyed working with Nina on All Stars.
Nina Flowers?
Yes, brown
Although she doesn't have time
flowers.
anymore.
Yeah.
I do enjoy working. I worked with Katya, but not enough. I mean, I've been able to work with so many people that I enjoy working with, but Kelly has to be one of my most favorites.
Oh, that's
Wow.
sweet. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. You know, what do you look for when you are working
Kasha
with...
Davis. Sorry, Kasha Davis.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
just saw that she was in one of your Instagram posts, one of your videos.
Kasha?
Yeah, Mrs. Costa Davis.
Yeah, Kasha is awesome, and what a wonderful person she is. I like working with Wendy Ho.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
I love
absolutely.
working with Wendy. And then, you know who really adores me is Bianca Del Rio.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that makes
She's
sense.
a hard one to please,
Yeah.
that one.
She loves me. She'll do posts and all kinds of stuff. You know, I'm like, oh,
That's
wow.
what I mean. I watch you and I'm like, if you have respect and value with the people that you in your community of people, that is a very important thing to have.
Yes.
And so yeah, the qualities that you look for, do you have one in particular?
Karen from finance.
Oh yes. You're getting them all. You're getting the whole list.
Karen is my buddy.
Iconic.
In fact, we're going to see each other again in Australia, and we were working on a tour, but it got moved around because there's a music festival that's happening, and they want me to headline down there.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So I'm going for that for Melbourne, Australia, in February for four nights, which is great for the festival. A mass amount of people, so that'll be great exposure. And with
So
the album
cool.
New Bear, which I'm trying to get the album, I want to get the album to chart is my goal. That's
Okay.
my
Oh, yeah.
to another level. That's my ultimate goal, is to have music on the pop charts.
There you go. That's your next target.
It's been my target for the long time. It just takes some while getting there, and you have to work towards it, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And Rome wasn't built in a day. And to be honest with you, I know how it is to struggle, because I decided that was how I was going to do it, and I did it. And I know what it is to struggle. Like, even after season 1, RuPaul's Drag Race, I struggled. I don't think I even made $500 from that show.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
On touring or whatever, you know, or under 1,000 for sure. It was not anything. It wasn't a hoorah-rah for me until I got on All Stars that things started to move.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense. With the
Which, you know, I'm thankful to that. But season 1, I was under the radar, and the show was so under the radar. They picked the main 5 or whatever, and then I was just kind of discarded.
I was obsessed with you from the first episode,
James
though.
is
First
a
of all.
huge super fan, and I have to admit, I only started watching the show in the second season, so All Stars was my introduction to you, but you stole
Nice.
my heart.
Mhm.
But I mean, and then And I stole the show on season 1, and I stole the show on All Stars, but they don't give me enough time.
100%.
And I'm the one with the most catchphrases.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Why am I not winning a Grammy yet?
Hello.
No,
I mean,
what I
if
loved
Hillary
about
Clinton
you-
can win one for It Takes a Village, why have I not
She
won one?
did. I just saw that. Yeah,
Jesus
she did.
Christ.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
What I loved about you was how unpredictable you were. You always surprised me, and that's how I want to be entertained. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to it smart, it's not like I'm saying a bunch of gibberish. I'm really actually saying smart things.
Yeah. It's kind of it's highbrow humor for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure,
No pun
it's
intended.
highbrow.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Highbrow humor.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually, yes, I am a comedian. I'm comfortable with being a comedian. I used to refrain from saying that I was a comedian because I wasn't totally comfortable with it because I'm naturally funny.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know, it's something that I can stand there and they're going to laugh. I don't have, it's just, it comes out in me. You know, it's that way. I'm entertaining.
Yeah.
But now, now I can say I am a comedian entertainer, you know, as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely feels very organic and natural. It doesn't feel forced or too curated. It's great.
And that's what bothered me because I didn't want to have to sit there and write jokes. I didn't want to be forced into it for something that's just easy for me to do.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say before that I was a comedian because I didn't want to force out writing jokes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
and when I was younger, my sister even said, "Oh, you're the kind that can be on Saturday Night Live." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? She noticed that as a young age. You know, my sister did. Mm-hmm. And I always felt comfortable too with comedians, or I could kind of relate, or I get that.
Yeah.
But
I never pursued it as a comedian, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that also with that comedic element that you have, you're also a very sincere and active. You're an activist. And
Correct.
So I would love. There's a song on Shoe Bear called "Sexy Orangutan." And I wanted to just talk with you about what that song's about. Mm-hmm. You had mentioned it a couple times already, but just specifically, what you're trying to bring awareness to with Sexy Orangutan.
Sexy Orangutan is just something fun, I would say, kind of like Pumpkin Blaster and fun things like Tootsie Lou or whatever, something like that. But then when I started working with Pierce, and he's like, let's work this into a song, and then we worked it into, since I already do activism, hashtag Queen of the Cause, and I used hashtag Free Orcas, hashtag Never Forget Standing Rock, now hashtag Puvogna, which is a territory in Long Beach. So that came along with it, and we wrote the song. We did some investigations about I've already known about what's going on with this for the past 3 years. I've been woke, or whatever they say these days, about the orangutans and what's been going on in the palm oil. So we wrote the song, and it's about palm oil and what's going on in the deserts, in these jungles that are being torn down. Yeah. And rhinoceroses also are being killed as well, or offed, and so are tigers and exotic cats and all kinds of species there, all for the sake of human consumption, which there's a major problem with human consumption. First of all, it's not healthy for us because they're mass consumption, and they're making all these soy products, and they're cutting down jungles to make the soy product, and the soy product is contaminated, and then they're feeding it to the beef or whatever the industry or all these pesticides, and it's just, and we're ingesting that, and we're all getting cancers, and we're depleting the ozone layer with gases. And the activism, that's where the song came from. It's about taking some action. And Queen Killer is another one that happened. The Queen Killer is another one that could be for the trans community and for queens and for people that this sort of stuff happens to them, by these men that go around and, fuck you and shoot you or whatever, you know what I mean? Or whatever they do. Yeah. Or serial killers out there that do that kind of stuff too. Yeah. Which is going on. Or we can tie it into the indigenous women, or the indigenous two-spirit people, that the same thing keeps happening, trans women, that keeps happening to them over and over, Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that one ties into that as well. Still, my music still has a message behind it, which is great. Yeah. And then some still has the element as well, like Shoe Bear is supposed to be a little more over the top, and that's what I wanted this album to be, a little more over the top, sensual but playful, and like a mandolier, the European singer, disco diva.
Amanda Lear?
Yeah, Amanda Lear.
I'm not familiar, yeah.
Lear.
Okay.
I think it's Lear or Lar. Lear. Look her up. You're going to go bonkers, and you're probably going to be wanting to lip sync her every Tuesday now.
Oh, snap.
Okay.
Well, I have a silly
yeah,
question.
She has songs.
I have a silly question. Who is your favorite nature documentary narrator? David Attenborough, George Page, or Sigourney Weaver?
Oh, well, let's go with Sigourney Weaver because I just love that movie, Gorillas in the Mist.
Yes.
Right.
And I try to tie that into some of my highbrow jokes sometimes, too.
Did you really? Wow.
Well, the end scene, the blood dripping down on the pictures as she was butchered or whatever.
Love me some Sigourney.
So we have another question. Inquiring minds want to know, so do you prefer cats or dogs?
Yeah, cats or dogs.
I can't pick either or.
You're just an animal
I like
lover?
them both.
Both?
I like them both. I mean, I like dogs and I like cats. They're both sweeties. I mean,
Yes.
They both have their values.
Yes, they do.
We were taking
dogs
bets and we betted cats. But
You what?
we took bets on which one you would pick, and
We were
it was
leaning
cats.
towards cats.
But
Oh, because of Tiger Lily or something?
Also, this is sort of silly, but I have the same shirt as you. I have the tie-dyed shirt with the spiraling cats. My friend Ryan gave it to me a few years ago, so when I saw it on your Instagram, I was like, oh my goodness. And I'm
that one I got for on purpose because I knew it would be a statement piece.
a hit.
That is what it is.
And I found it at a thrift store.
So did my
There in
friend.
Long Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, he found it at a thrift store on the coast, the Oregon coast, and he was like, she has to have it. So
Coming to Bend in December, coming up in Bend, Oregon, you are doing your Holiday Sparkle Tour.
we're so excited.
We're so excited. We'll be promoting that tour here in Bend with local queens Vanessa, Cuntessa, and Hayden. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the Holiday Sparkle Tour and what to expect?
Holiday Sparkle is going to bring Michael Caddy and myself back together.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then we're going to be doing all original holiday numbers except one, which is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is one that I've had for years, which is done in a techno style. That's a shout out to our Vietnamese friends.
It's a good underdog story, so you gotta.
And then we have the holiday song, which is one that I wrote myself on the way back from Palm Springs once, and I had to write it. This is before the phones recorded or whatever, and I did it over and over in the car until I got home, and I jotted it down. It's a fun one. It's a multicultural holiday song, that one. And then I always like to think for everybody, and keep everybody included in this. And then we have Coal in Your Stockings, which is a staple in the show, which was also written for me. Great. And then we're going to mix in some stuff, like we'll mix in one of the hits like La Piñata, which we'll put in towards, we'll put in with the Posada part, the Mexican part of the show as well, because they have these wonderful Posada parties. And Mexican influence has had such an influence on and they're such a big part of the holidays, so I put that in my show. Okay. And it was a major influence as me when I was a kid. So we'll have 2 numbers for that. We'll also tie in Sexy Orangutan because it'll tie in with the palm oil, and so much of the holiday product we eat and stuff has palm oil in it. And then I'll close the show with a See You in the Magazines.
Oh, great.
From the one of the new songs from the album.
Okay, yeah.
Well, and we're going to have Claire, who's opening for us, which is super exciting.
Yes. I'm excited to see you. So we can expect live singing,
yep.
Yes.
lip syncing, and lots of fun outfits.
Well, no
Any
lip syncing from
inspirations?
me, but fun outfits, yes, they're being made right now.
Oh, exciting.
So, yes.
What parts of the holiday are you inspired by?
What parts? To be honest with you, I'm not inspired by the holidays anymore.
Me too.
I like
Me
to
either.
decorate.
I mean, the thing about drag is it's sort of an escape, I think, for a lot of the viewers, the clients, the audience.
Yeah.
The Holiday Sparkle Tour, I think, is like that's exciting for me because it is a respite from all of the pressures. You know, we're here to have a good time together. We're here to celebrate each other and
maybe
let
something that
loose.
we actually want to do versus being forced to buy stuff or spend time doing things that we just feel pressured to engage in.
Yeah. So we're really excited to have you, and it's going to be a bright spot in the holiday season, I think, for everyone coming. We're very excited. So one last question. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And excuse me for if I sound like a downer. You know, I almost didn't want to do the holiday because I didn't almost want to do it or be commercial about it. I write this music and everything for it, or it's written for me, and then I'm presenting it. And I almost didn't want to get too involved and be a hypocrite because I'm so into this environmental and all this stuff and what's, human rights and everything and equal rights for indigenous culture and everything.
Yeah.
And it almost didn't, and so Disenchanted almost didn't want to, but you know what? Baby Jesus would want us to celebrate.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's the thing is we might as well celebrate together.
Yeah.
As a community of folks, of queer folks, and with our chosen families. And, that's the main thing that Out Central Oregon really is doing is creating those queer safe spaces in a community that didn't necessarily have them. So when we both got here, neither of us are from here, but we both got here, there was nothing really going on. There's no safe spaces for folks. And so Out Central Oregon creates these events and, we get to watch what happens when people get to be brave and get to be safe and all of those things. And so, it's really great to have you coming to this community, and we'll definitely celebrate what you're doing. How would you describe Tammie Brown to someone who hasn't seen your Instagram or watched RuPaul's Drag Race? Like, what should we expect at a Tammie Brown show?
Puppets?
Yeah, are we going to get puppets?
Puppets?
No, the puppet is just a side project.
Oh.
It's a side joke, actually. But you're going to get a film very soon, actually, another puppet film. We're going to have one of the dub-over films. I don't know if you watched my YouTube channel. I have these little short films I make.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then besides the Browns, I have this other series of films I make. But we will be there will be something with the puppet coming to you very soon. In fact, the puppet's in my bag right now. It's going with me to Mexico. But there won't be puppets on the stage for the show. But what would you want to expect? What does one expect from Tammie and holidays? One expects you have to listen. First of all, expect to listen. Yeah. So that you can understand what's going on. Pay attention. Okay. I'm not just rambling on a bunch of hogwash. Pay attention. It's quirky, of course, always quirky. Might be crazy. If you want to call it weird, that's on you, because I don't feel that I'm weird.
No.
I am crazy, yes, but I'm not the kind of crazy that will spell their name on the wall with feces, okay?
That's good. That smells bad.
Eccentric, yes.
Yeah.
Weird, no, because I do pay my taxes and I do everything that everybody else does. So let's refrain from the weird thing, okay?
I agree.
That's how you feel. There's this whole new movement about this weird business and everybody's embracing it. Well, good for you. Just I never felt weird. You were the one that's weird, not me. With this being, into this white bread America kind of living. Now that's weird. Following what's the trends and what's not being a trendsetter.
There's a reason that fans like us were drawn to you.
Yeah, I mean, you're incomparable to so many people, and that's the word I use.
And maybe we were people that grew up feeling we were labeled as weird too, and you felt like a guiding light.
Well, thank you. And I'm open to that, but I don't feel weird. I just feel confident and fashionable and a fun person and pretty much happy. I practice Buddhism. I've been doing, and I stick to my program and do what I got to do. That's what we're here to do in life.
Yeah.
And of course, live out of what the norm, of course, sure. But I would consider that weird. I would consider that living.
No, but this is your norm. It's not that. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And I'm persistent, and I stay on the path that, this is my path, let's go. This is my journey. I stay with it, what I believe and always aspire to. It doesn't happen, overnight, but you just got to keep going. So you'll experience a lot of quirky fun, I would say. Quirky fun, truth and awareness.
And a message, yeah.
And a message, a clear message, an environmental message, a queen with a cause, you know?
Wonderful.
That's what you would get.
It.
And
Yeah.
you will be razzle-dazzled.
Good. We're
Razzle dazzle.
so excited to see you.
That's the holiday spirit I like to think
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Razzle dazzle.
And we're so excited to meet you too. It'll be
Oh,
a dream come true.
thank you. Thank you.
So you're in Brooklyn. What's next on the agenda today and in the week to come?
Well, I have an overnight flight. I guess I have a red light down to Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Where are you performing?
What is it called? Red Eye.
Yeah, red eye.
Red Eye.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's with that. And then tomorrow I'll be in Oaxaca.
Wow.
And then one of my friends from Brazil's coming up to see me in
fun.
Mexico. We're going to go on a 3-week tour of Mexico.
Oh, 3
Oh
weeks.
my
That's a
gosh.
nice long time. Wow.
Yes.
Certain regions.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
And then I'll come back and then we'll start the tour with Anchorage, Alaska.
Cool.
And then up to you all.
Oh
Northern
my gosh.
California and then Washington.
Yeah.
So
We'll have an amazing time
Yes.
on vacation, and we'll see you when you get to Bend. And we thank you so much for your time.
Yes. Thank you for talking
Thank
with
Thanks
us.
you.
for meeting with us.
okay, sounds good. And I will
Okay.
see y'all soon.
Have a great
Bye,
time.
Tammie. Safe flight.